Welcome to thestockminer.com, and the bell just rung as we came into the end of another day. And more of the same. I'm not sure how many more times I can say buy the dips over the course of a week, a month, a couple months. You can see that it is lather, rinse, repeat again today. We saw a gap down to start the day. The NASDAQ especially took a walloping to start today's trading with Cisco coming out with their announcements. Not all of the NASDAQ stocks followed it, but it did start much, much lower than the rest of the market by a large amount, only to see what? Yeah, the buyers come in. They gobbled it up at the very end, during the course of the day, even from the get go, even from the open. I had somebody ask me what I thought, would happen to Apple based on the Cisco earnings, and I told him, I said, well, not everything follows what the markets are doing, even though the NASDAQ at that time was only down about 9 or 10 points late last night. I did mention, I said, do not be surprised to see investors start to gobble it up at the open. Just because Apple's very strong, very fundamentally strong stock. We saw a lot of that come into the market, not only from the Apple side. Now, Apple took a midday wallop, but at the beginning of the day started out very, very nicely, and the NASDAQ just continued its monster climb all day long. You can see it actually ended up, the NASDAQ composite ended up finishing positive for the day and was up there right around with the S&P 500, with the Dow being ever so slightly weaker than the other stocks. It's about time that it showed a little bit more weakness, but you can see overall weakness is all relative. We are right back and closing in on these upper levels once again. This whole consolidation that we've seen for the last 2 days or so is nothing more than that, another consolidation. Look, we saw it here. Everybody's waiting for the dip. It didn't happen. We saw it here. Everybody waited for the dip. It didn't happen. Everybody's waiting for the big push down here. I'm not convinced it's going to happen. The chart just is what it is, guys. I don't know what else to tell you. So we'll wait for these breaks. Look for maybe a pop up in the morning, possibly a gap to the upside tomorrow to start the day. And then I would say potential further bullishness if we can stay up above this 12,250 area in the Dow. Flipping over to the daily, you'll see here finishing with a giant hammer candle. So once again, we're going to see a lot of this is it. This is the one. Here it is, the big topping candle, and you know what? Sure, it is a topping candle, potential topping candle, but we've seen it here. We've seen it here. We've seen these candles before, and they don't mean anything. We saw a very nice topping candle right up in this area here. It doesn't mean anything. So we got to wait for that confirmation, guys. Don't get a hold of yourself. Don't jump to any conclusions quite yet. Further pushes to the upside just mean more bullishness here. Maybe we consolidate another day. Don't know yet, but I'm just waiting for these breaks, either up or down over the next day or two. NASDAQ 60 minute. Here you can see it. There's that big run. Here's the gap down. Run straight up. Little bit of a pullback before, at the end of the day, running right back up again. Setting itself up for what still appears to be bullishness in the markets. Still can't put that aside. This right here could be, and we've seen this in like bigger stocks like Apple especially, one big gap down ends up being what would be considered to Ellioticians maybe a wave 4 type of a move. You get the big gap down, get the wave 4 all in one, and then it just continues its trounce to the upside. Appears to be what we're looking at here. NASDAQ from a daily 2, there's the gap down only to run itself right back up. So yesterday we saw potential topping candle. Today we saw the big gap down in the NASDAQ, and it did not last long at all. Investors are buying the dips, or someone's in buying the dips. Whoever it might be is buying the dips, and that's all we're seeing right now. Straight up for the NASDAQ. Very strong. This is why it's so difficult to short the NASDAQ. It's very, very difficult for me to do that because this is not uncommon to see this kind of move. From a weekly, kind of back to where we were at the close of yesterday. Because of the big gap down today. Still looks very good. We'll talk about more about that obviously tomorrow when the markets are closed. SPX 60 minute. Here it is. The gap down where? yeah, pushed down right into the 50-period moving average, only to come back up, squabble a little bit with the 20, and then pop above it to come into the 1320-ish area. So the move below 1315-ish or so, we never saw the move back below here, which is what I'm ultimately looking for on the short side of things. We're just seeing a gap down, back into some support here, and then the push back up again. Looking for pushes above that 1325 area. That should, and I would expect if we're going to see it come tomorrow and or early next week, Monday or so. And this looks like what? A bull pullback. Thank you very much. Same thing, different day. Right here we saw the same thing. There's a bull pullback. Right here, bull pullback. So it's just the same formation over and over and over again. This, no different. Got to get back below this 1310. Okay, maybe we're looking at something different. But right now, not with the action we saw here at the end of the day, still, and really kind of during the entire day, still very, very bullish. They're just buying the dips. This thing is headed upwards right now. Gotta keep my bias there, neutral to bullish. All right, VIX on a daily, still squabbling, meandering its way around this 15-16 area, 15 to 17 area. There's just no panic in the markets. Very evident by what we see right here as things just kind of move sideways in the VIX. Every time we get a push to the upside, it's shoved right back down again in the VIX. Same story, different verse. Same story, different verse. No panic yet within the markets itself. Yeah, I do believe that when it happens, it'll launch, and it'll launch hard, but that isn't right now. Apple, big move to the downside. There was a ton of volatility here. Once it broke below this level, I was watching a lot of support levels in my charts. Once those started to break, you could see this thing just start to show increasing momentum to the downside, just down and down and down. Then all of a sudden, the big pop up. So you could call this big move here part of a three, maybe from here all the way up to here, 333 to 360, maybe some part of a big three wave. But you know what? If that's the case, this would be the four wave here. All at once, all in one time, all in a very short period of time. No big slow pullbacks for Apple. We see it quite a bit. Big moves all at once, just consolidation right now. I would tell you to look for pushes back above the 20-period moving average, and or maybe back below 350, 250 coming into tomorrow's trading. Daily, same type of a thing. Big wick on the bottom side here. But look at this big push right here, and all in one day. Could have swallowed it up all in one day. So looking for pushes to the upside, continuing to happen within Apple. Any further push to the downside, I'm very curious to see if this blue line will then hold on a weekly. Like I said, weekly candles, got to wait till the end of the week to see if that happens. But from what we saw today, looks like we may get a little bit more consolidation sideways on Apple. Watch those levels I gave you on the previous charts. FAS 60-minute 2, the big pullback, and the push back up. Now, not a lot of decent trading, just a move up, pullback, move up, but you can see how very structured it was. Into the 20, pullback, back into the 20, just poking its head above it by the end of the day. I still have to remain, because of what I'm seeing here, neutral to bullish on the financials as well, and the rest of the market. So let's look for pushes back above 3260 tomorrow. That might give you a very aggressive long entry back into maybe the 33 area, and then for the more conservative, back above 33 for a trade to the long side, with a push below 3150 to your to the downside and a shorting opportunity. FAZ 60-minute saw the push up into the $8 mark, pull back down. Much of what we're seeing here. I'll extend these lines. You'll see how we pulled up to this line, moved down to this line. So we've seen pretty decent moves to this line, to this line, to this line, to this line. Push above this line, a little bit of a fake out breakout here. Looked like it was going to hold and then back down to this line, back to this line, back to this line. Okay, if I extend this, right back to this line. Now where? Back to this line? Well, I don't know. Seems to be the standard. Looking for pushes back above $8. Really let it get above the 50-period moving average here. But I'm not bullish on FAZ at all right down here. I'm still bearish on it. We've had pretty decent moves to the downside. Very, very slow trading in this right now. I like it back above these areas, so I'd really rather not even be talking long FAZ right now. You get back below 770, still a good short on the financials. Still a good short on FAZ, not on the financials. The financials are bullish right now, very bullish right now. That is why this stock is absolutely falling apart. So I don't see any end in sight. Back below these areas, I'm still targeting this lower blue area. If it just continues to bleed itself downwards, seems to be where it wants to go. And until otherwise proven, I have no interest in going long FAZ. I just don't. So there you have it for today. That'll conclude Thursday's trading. We saw, like I said, buy the dips. It's the same song, different verse in the markets. Until these lower levels are broken, I don't recommend you getting heavy to the short side. Maybe news takes us down, takes us up, whatever. Point being, until that happens, neutral to bullish on your stance. Stick with that. Neutral to bullish on your stance. All right, see you again tomorrow for a week and wrap up. Oh, if you're getting good value out of this, you should. It's free. I mean, anything's good value, I guess, at this point. If you're getting good value out of this, tell your friends. Tweet me, put it up on a site that maybe you frequent. Tell your buddy that might not know a whole lot about trading, but is just getting into it. Maybe we can help them out a little bit and get them started. Pass the word. It's all free, so if you want to help me out, just pass the word. Let other people know. That'd be great. Love to see that from the daily viewers' side, that they're giving back in a sense by just telling their friends about it. All right, guys. See you again tomorrow night.